Hey guys, Brennan Mejia here, the Red Ranger from Power Rangers Dino Charge. Today I'm going to rank every single season of Power Rangers. Which are the best, which are the worst, and where do I rank Dino Charge? Let's find out. Just so we're on the same page, S tier will mean the best, followed by A tier, then B tier, C tier is the worst, and then D tier I'm using for don't know because I don't remember enough of it to accurately give it a ranking. We'll start with Power Rangers Turbo. So Power Rangers Turbo introduced the car theme. For me, I'm not a car guy. I know a lot of people growing up were like into cars and fixing them. I never took, body shop or whatever. I mean, I kind of wish I did at this point, but as long as my car is comfortable and gets me from point A to point B with decent gas mileage, that's kind of enough for me. So for me, a car theme, even as a kid, I didn't care as much about car themed stuff as a lot of other people. I personally don't care about car stuff, but I did love that Turbo had Justin, the first kid Power Ranger. Super cool that it felt like, oh, Justin's a Power Ranger, I can be a Power Ranger. And that was before I was a Power Ranger, so I mean as a kid, I thought I could be a Power Ranger because a kid was a Power Ranger. So for that reason, I also enjoyed the season, but the theme overall just wasn't my thing. So I'm gonna give this season a B. All right, Turbo, B. All right, moving on. We have Power Rangers Wild Force. So I watched a good amount of this when I was younger, but it's been so long since I've watched it. I'm gonna put this under D for don't know because I don't remember enough to accurately give it a good ranking or not. And I just don't think it would be fair for me to rank it. I think I should do another video in the future where I re-rank these after having some time to watch a couple episodes of each season, but this is just going off of what my knowledge is at the moment, so bear with me. All right, we have Power Rangers Dino Thunder. Dino Thunder saw the return of Tommy Oliver as Dr. Oliver, and I really enjoyed portions of the season. They had a smaller team to start. It was just the 3 Rangers in the beginning, and I love that they brought back the dinosaur theme. And the episode they had with Tommy where, I think it was like a dream sequence where he had to fight his like Turbo Ranger self and his Green Ranger and his White Ranger self. I just thought that was really cool. I love whenever they did original footage. For those who don't know, Power Rangers is based off of Super Sentai, which is a Japanese show, and a lot of the Japanese footage is brought over to America, and then they splice it. But that dream sequence where they had JDF portraying Tommy, obviously that wasn't Japanese footage, that was original footage reshot. And so I just thought it was super cool that they took the time to make that episode. They had an amazing theme song. Theme songs really kind of make or break if I get into a show. Anyway, yeah, Dino Thunder, I'm putting as, I'm gonna say S tier for that guy. We got Power Rangers Go Zeo. Zeo has my favorite suit in all of Power Rangers, the Gold Zeo, which in the Sentai technically I think was a Black Ranger, whatever. In Power Rangers, it's a Gold Ranger, and then it saw the return of Jason. So Jason was the original Red Ranger in Mighty Morphin, but now he's back as the 6th Ranger, which was amazing. He got super buff for this role too. I remember seeing his biceps. I'm like, geez, what the heck, man? Like, make me feel good about myself. But yeah, Zeo had super cool suits, had some really cool other cast members that were brought into Power Rangers later, like Johnny Young Bosch. Love Johnny, he's one of my favorite Power Rangers as well. So this season, although I can't say, because some people are like, well, Zeo also are technically the strongest Rangers in canon because the Zeo crystals, if memory serves, continually gain in power, but every season tends to say like, this is the strongest power in the universe. I think Dino Charge's Keeper says it at one point, like the Energems are the strongest power in the universe. Despite having my favorite suits, it still wasn't as good as some of the other seasons in my opinion, so I'm gonna give this an A for Power Rangers Zeo. Next, I'm gonna jump to Power Rangers RPM. Again, rumor, myth, legend, fact maybe. I've heard this from multiple people that Disney owned Power Rangers at the time. RPM, they were actually trying to end Power Rangers RPM, hence the apocalyptic kind of end of the world theme as well. But they weren't gonna continue Power Rangers after RPM. And so they were kind of just doing what they wanted with it, and they had less guidelines. But despite people trying, or Disney I guess trying to get rid of Power Rangers with this season, it ended up being super popular with fans. Now, if you recall, I mentioned earlier that the theme song makes or breaks me getting into a series or not. And I did not care for the RPM theme song. and because of that, I only watched like 2 episodes. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put RPM under Don't Know for now, because I haven't seen enough of it to do it justice with the ranking system. Power Rangers Mystic Force. Mystic Force, if you don't know, introduced magic. Well, I don't know if it introduced it, but it really highlighted magic. I mean, our Rangers had capes and like wands and things, which I thought was amazing. Harry Potter was pretty big at that time too. Again, I haven't seen the entire season, but I've seen quite a bit of it. I do enjoy their theme song. So for this one, I'm gonna give it a higher ranking. I know some people, I feel like it's underrated, to be honest. But for Mystic Force, I'm gonna give it an A ranking. By the way, I'm curious what you guys would rank the seasons as well, so make sure you comment below at the end of the video where you would rank your favorite seasons, as well as your not favorite seasons. Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. So for this one, I would love to tell you what I would rank it, but unfortunately it's going under Don't Know because I don't remember. So D for Don't Know / Don't Remember. I did watch some Operation Overdrive, but it was too long ago for this brain to work right now with this level of sleep, taking care of a newborn. Next, we got Power Rangers Samurai. Fun fact about Samurai, this is the first Power Rangers season I auditioned for. So yeah, I didn't just audition for Dino Charge and book it, I auditioned for Samurai first. And I made it to like the 3rd or 4th round of callbacks. And I remember for the final callback that I had, they wanted me to practice some martial arts and showcase it, as well as do the audition and the lines. But yeah, I didn't book Samurai, obviously. I auditioned for the Gold Ranger in Samurai, so I think it was Antonio, right? Antonio! I wasn't him, but good for him for booking it. Now that I've told you a whole bunch of backstory about this, where am I gonna rank Samurai? Well, Samurai, I don't know, it's not that their theme song was bad, it's not that the theme itself, Samurais are cool. I felt like the world of Samurai, maybe it just felt like they used so much Sentai footage that it felt a little empty to me versus some of the other seasons that feel more fleshed out with original footage and ideas. So it didn't land home as much for me as it did with some other seasons. It did have cool things, like it had Hector David Jr., who was incredible as a movement practitioner. You know, I know he did a lot of flips and things, and that inspired me to train more parkour and stuff too. And then also it had the first female Red Ranger, even though she wasn't the first full-time Red Ranger, that's still really cool. But overall, I can't say it's one of my favorite seasons, although it was good. So I'm gonna give Samurai a B next to Turbo. Next, I'm gonna talk about Power Rangers in Space. So Power Rangers in Space has one of my favorite Megazords. They're basically their spaceship that turns into a Megazord. Still don't understand how that works. I bring this up every time I talk about it. Where do all the people go? Because it's not just 5 Rangers in this Megazord, right? There's a bunch of people like working as crew members on the ship, and then it transforms into a Megazord, and then like, what? So if the Megazord loses or gets hit in the arm, do all the humans in that arm get like damaged or hurt or killed? Or like, I don't know. Or maybe it just has like seatbelts appear wherever they are, some anti-gravity system to help lock them down. Regardless, I don't know, don't think about it too much, but but In Space was really cool because it expanded Power Rangers truly into other planets. It wasn't just about Earth anymore. Although Earth was still a part of it, it still had Zordon in it, but then it had Zordon, you know, ultimately meet his demise, but in such a way that saved Power Rangers. And again, as I mentioned with Disney and RPM trying to end Power Rangers, In Space was going to be the end of Power Rangers the first time, but it was so popular after Christopher Kamen Lee, the Red Ranger who was in Space, English. After he destroyed Zordon, it was so well received that they kept it going. So this is definitely, I'm gonna say S tier for sure. Next, we're gonna go with Power Rangers Ninja Steel. So Power Rangers Ninja Steel is the season that followed Power Rangers Dino Charge, my very own season, or Dino Supercharge if you wanna get really specific and into the semantics. But Ninja Steel had Peter Sudarso, my Blue Ranger Yoshi Sudarso's actual biological brother. Yes, this isn't made up. They are the only Rangers in history, as far as I'm aware, that are actually related, and they're both Power Rangers, and they're both Blue Rangers, and they actually got to do a crossover episode in Ninja Steel where they got to work together. Now, I didn't care for the theme song in Ninja Steel though, so that's a strike against it, and I also didn't really care that Brody, the Red Ranger, in theirs, Will Schufelt, love the guy, him and I get along so well at conventions, they're both really into fitness. But his storyline felt pretty similar to Tyler's. His dad went missing for 10 years. Now, Tyler wasn't stuck on an alien spaceship for a long time, but the whole searching for the dad thing again, I was like, that's redundant. I feel like we just did that last season, literally. So I'm gonna give Ninja Steel more towards a B. So, in good company though. Next, we have Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. So this followed Power Rangers in space. After in space, I remember as a kid, I was like, what are they gonna do next? They've been to Earth and they've been to space. Like, what else is there? And then it's like, Lost Galaxy. So you're in space, but now you're lost. So Lost Galaxy is the Quasar Sabers, is that how you say it? I think, where they kind of like got to be, you know, really cool, medieval-y Merlin and like King Arthur pulling swords from stones and getting their powers. And then they had the Red Ranger who in a battle got to rip his shirt off, which I was jealous of and always wanted our production team to allow me to do in a scene because I wanted to rip my shirt off, thought that was cool. Never happened, but Lost Galaxy also had a good theme song, so I'm gonna put this as an A ranking. All right, Power Rangers Hyperforce. For those who are unfamiliar with Hyperforce, it's not a normal season in the sense that it had like, you know, special effects and monsters and all the things. It was a role-playing game, kind of like more like Dungeons and Dragons. So it was like a tabletop card-ish kind of thing. I don't know if cards, but like with dice and things. And I actually was supposed to be in season 2 of it, which never happened. But Peter Sudarso, who I just mentioned was the Blue Ninja Steel Ranger, had a big part in the creation of it. And they had a lot of cool people who became Rangers in Hyperforce, and then a lot of returning Rangers. And then they had different versions of Rangers, like Yoshi was in it, but I believe he was a Time Force Green Ranger and then became like a Time Force, was it Silver? Something like that. So technically he has 2 other Ranger forms, but they're not supposed to be Coda, they're different characters, which I think is just cool that they added to the Power Rangers lore, to the fact that Hyperforce even got put into the Boom Studios comic book series. So it wasn't just like a fan-made thing and that was it. It was recognized eventually as canon if you take the comic books as canon. Now, that being said, I've never even played Dungeons and Dragons. I can't really give it a ranking. I mean, it's not that I don't know. I know enough, I feel, but not quite. So I'm gonna give it a B, just because I feel like it's not normal Power Rangers, you know? It's not like, oh, with the music and the fighting and the stuff. It's more just acting as you go with the improv of what's going on around you. So it's a cool idea, but it's so not normal Power Rangers at the same time, it's hard for me to like rank it properly. Next, Power Rangers Jungle Fury. Jungle Fury and Wild Force. It's kind of like, you know, they have like the animal themes and they have like the dino themes, like Mighty Morphin, Dino Thunder, Dino Charge, Dino Fury. So you have repeat themes every so often. So Jungle Fury felt to me similar to Wild Force in that sense. But just like Wild Force, I don't remember a lot of Jungle Fury, so unfortunately it's going under don't know for now. We have Power Rangers Ninja Storm. This one had an amazing theme song too, and I actually thought because of Ninja Storm, I was never going to be able to play a Power Ranger because the Yellow Ranger in Ninja Storm at the time, his hair was similar to how my hair was styled. And I was like, oh, they already hired someone that I look like. So they're never going to now hire me as well because they have this better, good looking, taller, more handsome version of me, essentially. And I just thought, for whatever reason, I decided in my fate that meant I could never be a Power Ranger. Well, thankfully, that ended up not being true. And also, thankfully, Ninja Storm is an amazing season, and things with ninjas are just cool. You know, like Naruto, one of the most popular anime of all time. So Ninja Storm, I'm gonna put with S tier as well, next to Dino, Thunder, and In Space. All right, next, Power Rangers Megaforce. So Megaforce is the season before mine and after Samurai, the other season I auditioned for. I never auditioned for Megaforce though, because after I didn't get Power Rangers Samurai, I was so jaded against Power Rangers that I didn't want to audition anymore. I was like, no, they already saw me, they didn't want me. I'm not gonna waste my time trying to be accepted by people who don't think I'm cool. But Megaforce gets a lot of hate, and I understand because the storyline can be convoluted. I forgot the official name for it, but there's something where in storytelling, basically they don't keep within the confines of what they've already established. They kind of just, to save a character or to save basically what's happening, a circumstance, they'll just give someone a power-up out of nowhere. But I felt like Megaforce did that with Super Megaforce because they actually had one of their characters, when Azim asks Gosei, which is their version of Zordon, oh, like, why are our suits different? Why am I now different? And Gosei goes, there's a logical explanation for that. And then instead of giving us that explanation, the scene just cuts to something else. Like they fully just didn't even bother to come up with the reason. And I was like, really, that's kind of lame. I don't blame the cast for the storyline, because even they often acknowledge like it. I know Megaforce isn't well received, but they're great. I love them individually. It felt like, I don't know what happened with production or writing or what was going on exactly, but their characters and their arcs weren't written in the ways that some other seasons I felt like had more effort put into it. Even though it wasn't that strong, it makes me feel like I'm in a snow globe when I watch Megaforce. And what I mean by that, it makes me feel cozy, like, you know, it's campy, it's ridiculous, but even more ridiculous in a lot of other Power Ranger seasons, to the point where I'm kind of cool with it. It's so campy and ridiculous. So I don't hate it as much as other people. I'm gonna give it a B- if I could, but I'll put it under B just because I don't feel like it's quite a C, you know? All right, Power Rangers SPD. This one I remember enjoying, but I also remember that I don't remember a lot of it. So again, I feel like this is one where I'm gonna unfortunately have to put under don't know. Although there were certain things that were cool. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the one where like the Blue Ranger wanted to become the Red Ranger after the Red Ranger died or went missing or something, but he ended up staying Blue Ranger, and then they ended up getting like a criminal who became Red Ranger or something, but then the Blue Ranger ultimately became Red Ranger at the end of his own team. Was that SPD, or am I thinking Operation Overdrive? I think it was SPD. If I'm wrong, you're gonna be like, Brennan, you don't know your stuff. I'm like, I know, that's what I'm saying, because I forgot. It's been a long time, okay? So unfortunately, this will be under don't know. But now we have Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, which is fully going under don't know, because I don't remember. I'm not even gonna pretend I remember, because I don't. Other than that, I think they had cars as well. And again, I wasn't really into cars for Megazords and things, so sorry. All right, this one I think is the Alien Rangers. Looking at the symbol, it says Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with like a sideways lightning bolt, but it doesn't say Alien Rangers on it. And I think that was like, they're from Aquatar, right? I really enjoyed their suits. I thought it was cool because as a kid, my friend and I, we used to pretend, I'm the Power Ranger, you know? We created our own version called Comets. So I was the blue comet and I had like water power, and he was the red comet with fire power. And so when they had the Alien Rangers from Aquatar with like water themed kind of powers and planet, that just, I liked that. And I believe they brought them in because the Rangers got turned into kids for several episodes, right? I think, maybe, possibly. It wasn't like a full length 40 something episodes as far as I remember for the Aqua Rangers, but you know, they were pretty good, they were fun. So I'm gonna give them a B. You know, I can't say it was like legendary status of like they were groundbreaking, but it was enjoyable. Next, we have Power Rangers Beast Morphers. So Beast Morphers is a season I actually returned to. Now, if I'm not being biased just because of the few episodes I got to return into, I don't know, I didn't, so their theme song, I actually liked it, but it was too short. Like it was 30 seconds instead of the minute. So I can't really have it in my workout playlist because by the time I'm starting to get hyped by it, the song is now over. I'm like, well, I gotta put it on repeat otherwise. So they had cool themes. I liked how some of the Rangers became like trapped and turned into evil versions, like Roxy. I thought that was cool. And then they ended up having, you know, the bad guy from RPM kind of resurrected-ish as a computer virus, right? I think that was the whole thing with their bad guy, which was also pretty cool. The thing with like the Beast Morpher, the Beast X, or the Morph X, I don't know, the bad guy's always just trying to steal it from buildings. I don't even know why I didn't really care about it, but I didn't really care about it. It just kind of didn't vibe with me. Nothing against the writing or the cast. It just, certain things just don't vibe with everyone, and something about it just didn't make me go, this is one of my favorite seasons. So although it was enjoyable, there were just parts of it that I was like, I don't know, there are other seasons I like more. So I'm gonna throw this into the B category as well. So I'm gonna lump Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury together because this only gives me the Dino Fury symbol. They're both the same cast anyway, so why not? Dino Fury is the next Dino themed season after Dino Charge. So you have Mighty Morphin, Dino Thunder, Dino Charge, and then Dino Fury, which is cool. So it's the fourth one. And I would have loved if we had done a crossover. I didn't care for the theme song, sorry. I love you guys, but it just wasn't my jam. And Dino theme is always cool, so that definitely gives good points. And then if we jump into Cosmic Fury, they had original suits. Dino Fury is fun, but slash Cosmic Fury, but it's not my favorite from what I've seen. Again, I haven't seen all of it, so it's not so little that it's don't know, but it's not so much that I can for sure rank it, so I'm gonna put it B for now. All right, final three. I'm gonna go with Power Rangers Time Force. If you've watched other videos of mine, you already know this is one of my favorite seasons of Power Rangers. They have an amazing theme song. They have a great, talented cast And then their storyline is just so cool with the time travel and the more mature theme where like the Pink Ranger actually was the leader and the Red Ranger had like a relationship, but she was also kind of low-key dating his like relative in the future, but then she wanted to be with the one in the past but couldn't because she had to protect the timeline, so they didn't get to stay together. So I'm gonna throw Time Force as an S tier, which I just put it as a C in accident. Jump that to S tier. All right, now we got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I'm wearing the shirt, which started it all. Now I know a lot of this is through nostalgia glasses because people have told me multiple times, if you go back and watch Mighty Morphin compared to other seasons, it's actually kind of just okay. But because nostalgia is a big, and it's a real powerful thing, you know, you can call it the placebo effect of TV shows, I guess. There's a reason it's so popular. There's a reason when I go to conventions that the line for Mighty Morphin Rangers tends to be longer than pretty much everyone else's, because it's so enduring, it's so iconic. So Mighty Morphin definitely is gonna go S tier for me. All right guys, now we're to Power Rangers Dino Charge, my very own season. So where do I rank it? Well, let's find out. So Power Rangers Dino Charge for me, honestly, even if I wasn't in it, is a really enjoyable season. I love how, despite having 10 Rangers, it really does a good job at highlighting multiple episodes for everyone, so everyone gets a moment to shine, and really drives home the camaraderie fact. And I like that we don't take place in high school, but we're not like so adult that we're, you know, living like normal careers, like we're not, you know, in the Air Force. We're kind of like in this middle ground where some of us are going to college, some of us are working at a museum, some of us are just lounging and living at a museum like Coda. I love you, Yoshi. But we all have like, we're learning responsibility still. Like we're figuring ourselves out, we're young adults. And I love that. I felt like it was a good age group. And the way that our storylines were written just really lended themselves to exploration and fun while still teaching values and morals and all that good stuff. And then there are certain parts of the show that I personally would have had written a little differently. Like my dad, I bring that up a lot. Him not helping or showing himself to my character for 10 years to keep us safe didn't make sense a lot to me, versus if he had lost his memory, had amnesia, that would have made more sense to me. I would have changed that. Some other little tweaks here and there, but overall, I honestly think Dino Charge is one of the better seasons, and for that, you know, I gotta go S tier. Now, if you wanna find out who my top 10 Rangers are, watch this video.